This presentation will show you how to use Criterion online writing. It will show you how to register yourself on Criterion, how to get assignments from your instructors, how to work on those assignments, how to get feedback from Criterion, and how to submit your assignments to your instructor. The first thing you need to do is register yourself on Criterion so it knows who you are, what class you're in, what assignments you should get. In order to use Criterion, students have to purchase a license. This is a small cardboard brochure, shrink-wrapped, sold in the college bookstore. You can't register without that code. You're not buying a piece of software, you're just buying a code to a website. When you're ready to register, you open your internet browser and go to this address. Notice that this address does not have W's. Notice that it's not .com. The address is exactly like this: http://criterion.ets.org. Most instructors will put a link to Criterion in their Blackboard site, so you could also go to it that way. If you Google the term Criterion, you will find many results, but if you just automatically click the first one that you find, it will go to a site that looks very much like the login page, but it won't work for you. So avoid trying to get to Criterion by simply Googling for it. The best policy is to just use a link provided by your instructor or to type in the address. When you get to the Criterion page, you will see some announcements first. They change from time to time. You just want to scroll down and look for the link, Go to Criterion Student Website. It's giving you three options here. Do you want to register? Do you want to log in? Or do you want to add a new class? If you're a brand new first-time user, you just want to register. If you're already registered in that class, of course you want to log in. If you've already registered Criterion for another course, maybe for Reading 114, for example, and you just want to add English 093 or English 101, then click New Class, and it will ask for an access ID for that new class. All students need to purchase a new, fresh Criterion code every semester because the codes expire after several months. But if you're taking two classes during a term that both require Criterion, you don't have to buy two separate codes. Use that link, New Class, to just add the second class. So everyone needs a fresh Criterion, but you never have to buy two for the same semester. So if you're registering, just click I'm a new user, register. The first thing it needs from you is the access ID for your class and then the password for your class. This is not the code written on your brochure. This is a code that your instructor gives you that belongs to the entire class. This is something you only need to put in once. This is not a regular part of the login procedure. So your instructor will provide you with the access ID for that class and the password. If you don't know this, check Blackboard. Your instructor has probably put that access ID in a Blackboard announcement. Once you're into that particular class, and you can verify that you're in the correct class by looking up here, then enter your serial number from your card. Enter this very carefully. You have to look closely. Sometimes the B's and the 8's look similar. If you see a round character, it's always a 0, never the letter O. You can choose your own username and password. I would strongly recommend entering the username and password that you're already using for Blackboard. It makes things easier for you to only have to remember one login. So I would recommend using your first initial, your last name, and those numbers, and for your password, using your birthday in the 6-digit format. Okay. Of course, fill in your first name, your last name, and your email address, and click Create Registration. It's very important that you keep up with your own login information. The card, the brochure card, gives you a little perforated wallet-sized card where you can write down the username and password that you just created for yourself, and you can keep that card with your important papers, maybe in your wallet or your purse. Your instructor can look up your password if they need to, but it really is better for students to keep up with their own login information. It's just simpler for everyone. When you're finished with this screen, click Create Registration. Now you're registered, you can log in for the first time. Go to the Criterion homepage website, criterion.ets.org. Again, go to Student Website. This time, you can just click Login and input the username and password that you just created for yourself. This is not the code from your brochure. This is the username and password you just created for yourself. It's probably the same one that you use for Blackboard. And click Continue. When you log in, you'll see a screen something like this. There are two sections, your portfolio and your assignments. Your instructor probably will not have all of the assignments for the entire semester visible at once. You may just see the first assignment for now. Your portfolio is the section of Criterion where all of your essays are stored. If you have submitted any essays, they are stored there in your portfolio. It's kind of like your briefcase. It's the place to go for anything that you've been working on and you need to go back to for some reason. One spot where people get a little bit confused. Say, for example, you worked on paragraph 1 for an hour. You submitted it, but you're not completely finished with it. You're going to revise it several times before the due date comes along. You come back the next day. You want to open paragraph 1, pick up where you left off, and keep revising. It would be very natural for you to click paragraph 1. But if you did that, Criterion would think that you're asking to start again over from scratch. If you clicked paragraph 1, it'll take you to a blank page as if you're starting over, and you'll mistakenly think that Criterion has lost all that work that you did the day before. It's not lost, it's in your portfolio. Whenever you're finished working for the day, you should either save what you've worked on, or even better, if your instructor has it set up for unlimited submissions, go ahead and submit it to your portfolio so you know exactly where to find it the next time. Criterion does not have a problem with losing students' work. The only time that happens is maybe if the power flickered or something unusual like that. Okay? So the safest way to save your work from one day to the next is to submit it into your portfolio. Just make sure that your instructor hasn't limited an assignment to only one submission. So if we wanted to begin paragraph 1 from scratch, we would click the assignment's title. This is not the assignment yet. This blue screen always appears for every assignment. This is not written by your instructor. It's written by the Criterion program. So you can read this. If your assignment is just a paragraph, this is not very useful. If you're writing a full essay, I would read this carefully. You will see the instructor's topic, the official assignment that your instructor wrote, at the top of the screen where the red arrow is pointing. The white field below is where you would type your assignment. It will scroll down. You have more room than it looks like. Please notice this instruction. When you're using Criterion, don't use the Tab key to indent new paragraphs. Just simply skip a blank line to show that you're beginning a new paragraph. There is no need to do any kind of formatting in Criterion. Don't try to double space. Don't try to hit enter at the end of each line. Just type one sentence after the other and let Criterion automatically handle all of the formatting. The only formatting you'll ever have to do manually is to leave a blank line at the end of each paragraph. So at the end of a paragraph you would just hit enter twice to skip down 2 lines before you begin the next paragraph. You don't need to put your name or the date or the assignment or any other kind of heading at the top of the screen. Because you're logged in, Criterion already knows all of that information. Just type the essay. You see the buttons at the bottom: save and keep writing, submit this essay, save this essay to finish later, and check spelling. If your instructor has the assignment set up for unlimited submissions, the save buttons are not very useful. You can submit as many times as you like. Criterion will always save the first submission and the most recent submission. So if you've submitted 8 times, it will save number 1 and number 8, but 2 through 7 will disappear. If your instructor has an assignment set up for only 1 submission, or just a very small limited number of submissions, then you should save frequently as you're working. Say that you have a first draft input into the field, or maybe even just a piece of a first draft, anything that you would like to get some feedback on. You can click Submit this essay. You will see your draft in front of you. You will see a button in the bottom left where the red arrow is pointing, View Trait Feedback Analysis. That's the button you'll click to get feedback from Criterion. Notice the tabs at the top. This example is set up to show you grammar feedback, usage feedback, mechanics, and style. When you move on to full essays, instead of maybe just a paragraph, you'll also see a tab for organization. In this example, the grammar tab is chosen. When you see all of the possible grammatical errors that might have been in the draft, Only Fragments is written in bold. Only Fragments is a link that you could click. These others that are written in very light print are not links. There are no possessive errors in this particular draft, so that is not highlighted. If you wanted to see the fragments that have occurred, there's only one, and if you wanted to see that fragment in this draft, you could click on the word fragments and it would show it to you. It won't automatically correct it, but it will point it out to you. So in this example, we're looking at the usage tab of all the possible usage errors. There are no wrong articles, there are no missing or extra articles, there are no preposition errors, etc. But there's one case of confused words. If we click on confused words, it'll take you to the spot where that problem happened. The word its, I-T-S, is highlighted. If you don't understand why that's a problem, you see that Criterion's pointing out as a problem, but you don't know why it's incorrect or why it needs attention, look at the top right hand corner of the screen and see Writer's Handbook. If you click on Writer's Handbook while a particular error is highlighted for you, it will snap you automatically straight to the spot in the handbook where that problem is discussed. That should give you enough insight into know why that was a problem and how you would go about correcting it. When you're finished with the handbook, just click Close Handbook. When you are ready To take all of this feedback and revise your essay and create a better version of it, look for the link at the top of the screen towards the center, Revise Essay. Keep in mind that Criterion does not promise to catch every single error. It's just a learning tool. It helps you learn on your own to find and correct common writing problems for yourself. There is no software available now that can read or edit as carefully as a human being can. You still need to carefully edit your essays, sentence by sentence, word by word. Give yourself enough time to do a good, careful job with that. But Criterion does give you a really nice head start. Criterion will never automatically correct anything for you. You wouldn't learn anything that way. It's helping you spot the problems that you as an individual tend to have with your own writing, and it gives you some lessons to help you know how to correct those problems. If you have further instructions on how to use Criterion or how individual assignments have been set up, just contact your own instructor.